Mic test 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic test. Mic test 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic test. Hello, Glenn. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, got that figured out.
Yeah. Hey, man, your place is looking pretty good there.
Yep, starting to get organized. You can't see there, but the wall is actually all painted and fixing to get to this wall and this wall.
That's cool.
So I'm slowly but surely getting there. It's good to see you back. You're still coughing and hacking and stuff, huh?
Yeah, man, let me, I'll be right back. I'm going to get me, well, wait a minute. I'll get them right here.
Yeah.
Give me a couple cough drops in case I need them tonight. Man, I had minutes to shake whatever I got. Man, it's been awful. All right. I'll just go ahead and get started on one. Brett Brett has a Christmas party or something.
Yeah, I saw that.
He said he'd either be here before or after or whatever, but I didn't realize, didn't verify when. He may not even make it tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm slowly getting my act together a little bit at a time. Okay,
All right.
got that, got that. Got the webcast on. All right.
Yeah, I'm getting a note from YouTube. It says, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
Looks fine.
As such, viewers will be experiencing buffering. So, I don't know. We're looking good on Facebook.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks fine on YouTube. I've got that up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to check something. Hang on. Printed some stuff earlier that I need to review. I'll just let you see the first little bit.
All right.
And we can talk about it some.
Maybe I'm not moving enough. Oh, man, I need to get some studio lights on here, too.
There we go. Yep, we can show that.
Get these lights on.
Yeah, I always forget to turn my light on.
I've got enough light in here that it usually does pretty good, but I usually run these studio lights. Helps, for shadows and stuff like that.
I'm actually going to be moving this computer to this desk, and you'll be able to see the window behind me when I'm in my final setup. Once I get that wall, I got to paint the baseboards, and then it's finished. But yeah, I was going to show you. There you go. Check out the date.
December 2nd, 2024. 24. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 2024. 20
we are in the process of signing another book deal with ARRL.
Oh boy, man,
And
that's like work.
Actually, it's going to be a 2-book deal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, I'd try to retire. I got tired of working, man.
No, that's what I want to do
did
while
I?
I'm retired, man.
Yeah.
This is my retirement fund.
I
I don't
was-
want to paint the house and stuff. I'm tired of that.
Yeah, I was ready to leave work.
No, I was ready to leave work.
Chile,
No,
Central
this is what I
Georgia,
had planned
David.
my retirement to be because, come on, let's face it, you can't sit at home bored out of your mind all day.
I can do a pretty good job doing that.
Well, I mean, I've got the lab in the process of
Yeah.
getting set up. That room is nearly done. Workbenches arrived today. So, I mean,
KJ4CMY, David. Chile, Central Georgia, welcome.
yes, sir.
N0RIC, welcome tonight.
It's pretty cold here too tonight.
Man, it was 22 degrees here this morning.
Yeah.
Kathy had jury duty this morning and
Ooh.
had to get out in it. It was like 22 degrees this morning, man.
Yeah.
She got lucky. They had a
cold.
trial. Hey, she went in. They had a trial today, and it's over with already. And
Wow.
so she don't have to go back for 10 years.
Wow. No, it's 36 right now. It's going to get down to 25 tonight.
Yep, that's pretty good and pretty cool.
Black Friday was good for me. And John, in the chat room, there's a free.
There we go. Let's see if it comes back.
Yeah, it came back.
Did it?
Yep.
All right. Let me see if it came back on Facebook. Well.
But I got a pair of fold-down workbenches for the garage, and I've got the workbenches in the workroom. They're here, but I got to finish painting the other walls, and then I can set up the workroom there. So I'm about ready to start getting stuff done here pretty soon. So
All right.
finally getting down to what I retired for.
Well, looks like when I kicked it off of Facebook, and Facebook's not coming back, but that's okay.
Oh yeah,
son.
YouTube is also now frozen. There you go. It came back.
Yeah, I'm not moving around much. Maybe I need to. Yep. All right. Well,
Oh, you're doing the Trump dance tonight, huh?
I guess I was moving so y'all could see me.
Oh Lord.
It doesn't look like. Yeah, Facebook is really particular how it has to come up. I have to go through about 5 different sequences in order to make it come up, and once I killed it, now I'm trying to bring it back up, but I think the video has to be down when I bring it up, and the video has to come up after Facebook
Oh.
is up, so anyway, we'll see what it looks like. YouTube says it's still not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming.
It looks fine. I got the stream up on my left monitor.
All right, good. This morning my internet was down here. I thought, oh no, man, I was going to try to be on tonight, and if I didn't have internet, wasn't sure what I was going to do, but it finally came up today.
Yep. My new network drive came in today, so I'm in the process of transferring over to it because the old one is just about ready to die. And Mark P is, yes. Yeah, it's pausing a little bit. So you got internet issues tonight, it looks like.
Well, I think what it's doing is trying to start up.
Facebook.
It's trying to start up Facebook and X and Twitch. Let's see if we're on Twitch. About time to start the show. Let me see, we're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Let's see. I see, here's,
It's right at 8 now.
yeah, here's X. Let's see, we're on X. Yeah. Let me go to Twitch. Twitch TV. We're live on Twitch TV. And, well, what's going on with X? I need to call Elon.
Yeah. You got him on speed dial.
I can't do it. There we go. Let's see. Okay. Well, we're live on Twitter, X. We're live on X. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch.
Okay.
We're just not live on Facebook because they're picky. They're real picky. Oh well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not worried about it. All right. I just did a speed check on my internet. I've got fairly decent internet. I've got right at 1 gig down, and I've got 66 megs up. So,
That's not bad at all.
I used to have about 23 up for the past years, but they've upped it to 60, 63 or 65. So.
Yeah, I'm at the outside range for my T-Mobile 5G internet, so it's iffy on the upload a little bit. You know, maybe 10 or 20 meg. It's not a whole lot, but downloads 50, 60. Good enough for what I need.
It doesn't take much. I got a little, what do you call it? Hotspot type little device, Verizon hotspot type device.
I've got one of those T-Mobile.
Actually, I ordered a router, and I can take that SIM card out of the Verizon hotspot and put it in that router.
Yeah.
And it brings up the router and 5G and all that kind of stuff. And it's I can plug in Ethernet or Wi-Fi. But I tried it today, and the speeds were like 23 down, something like that up.
Yeah.
Wasn't great. I'm in a hole here, so we barely get a mobile signal, but it did great. I was able to watch TV.
While I'm thinking about it, do you have an old school 802.11b or G access point laying around you're not using?
802.11. You mean like a link's out 10 or 15 in a tub up the attic, and right here at this closet door, I've got about 15 or 20.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'd like to get one off of you.
Yeah, I can get you one. I've got plenty.
Because my doorbell, it's older technology, and it will not run on my Wi-Fi here.
Really?
Because I'm running the, what is that, 802.11a?
Yeah.
And
so
if I can get an older B and G, I can use my wireless doorbell and not have to buy a Ring or Alexa or anything like that. You know how cheap I am.
Yeah. Well, I'll dig around here sometime.
As part of my move, I trimmed everything down.
All right, we need to get started here.
Yeah, we're freezing again up on YouTube.
Is that right?
Yeah, Mark P., I tried that, and for whatever reason, it will not link to
output
my router.
Let me look at some output settings.
Yeah, you may just have to drop off the Facebook.
If I disable Facebook, because it's not coming up, I'm going to disable it. Let's see what that does. Because it keeps here on monitor.
Well, we're on, but it's definitely buffering.
Well, let's see. All right, let me just do a motion test here. Let's see. I just saw a
you're
cough.
buffering pretty heavy on this end.
Yeah, I'm not. not seeing any buffering here, but I'm behind, probably 30 seconds.
But yeah, on the YouTube that I'm getting, it's buffering, but it could just be my internet on this end as well.
Yeah. All right.
That doesn't quite work.
Okay.
Like I say, if I have to, I'll get me a new doorbell. But I was like, I've got one. Why not try to use what I got?
All right. Let's get started here. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Been so long since I've been on here. I almost forget how to work that stuff here. Let's see. All right. Hang on, everybody. Here we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's a show about ham radio, amateur radio, shortwave, electronics, and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we mix in some different stuff with it. I'm glad to be back tonight. Brett is not with us tonight. He has a Christmas party he's going to. Glenn is here. But I haven't been on here in about a month. You guys know I spent about close to a month in the Mediterranean Sea, and I visited places like Montevideo and North Africa and Greece and Italy and Croatia. I went there just about to all the different islands and locations throughout the Mediterranean. And while I was over there, I got a bad cold, and so I had a bad cold for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks here, and then we came home this last Sunday, and Kathy and I both had COVID. Well, my COVID lasted about 5 days, and it left me, but I've still got this cold or whatever. It's not COVID. It's congestion. It's runny nose. It's coughing, and man, I've been on all kinds of meds. I just can't shake it, and I'm trying to. So I don't know how the night's going to be. I'll try to mute the mic if I have to cough real loud, and try to make it as pleasant as I can for you guys there. Just simply W5KUB. Just put that in the search bar on Facebook, and you can join our group. We'll put you right in there and let you be a member of it. We got close to 14,000 people, I think, in our group now. So it's a pretty large group. It's a great group here. Hit the subscribe button if you can on right there. If you're on YouTube here, please hit that subscribe button, and that helps us to advertise the show. Also, hit the like button. If you hit the like button, that helps YouTube to get the word out about the show. We're also on podcast. Just about every podcast out there that you can think of, we're on. This is just a very short list of all the podcasts, but anything from Google Play to iNet Radio to you name it, we're on it. And every week we're getting more and more on the podcast out there. If you're out there listening on shortwave, or if you're listening to the podcast, hey, send us a note. Send us an email to Tom at W5KUB.com. Tom at W5KUB.com. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us where you are. Tell us how you're hearing the station. Tell us how you listen to the podcast. Are you driving across country? Are you at work? Are you hiding it from your boss with a little earphone or something? Tell us how it is. And let's see. Mark is saying my upload speed must be really, really low. Well, I'm showing I'm showing 11.5 megabits up right now. 11.5 megabits up. We've dropped 8 packets since the show started. So not sure what's going on. I'm looking at the YouTube dashboard, and it looks pretty smooth there. So maybe it's just congestion or something on the internet tonight. I don't know. But we're going to make a go here. I got several things going on tonight. One of the things I want to talk about later in the show is the future of this webcast, the future of this show. We're just about to hit 10 years of a weekly show, and it's been a challenge to keep it going every week for 10 years. And I know a lot of times we don't have any great segments. Sometimes we have some great segments. It's kind of hit and miss. But I'm going to talk a little about that and why it's like that, and you know what changes maybe we need to do. So we'll talk about that tonight. Hey, I want to talk about traps and building some LC resonant circuits to be used in traps, like traps for antennas. AC5 CM. I don't know if Chris is in here or not. I'm getting a care package together for him. I'm going to go through the care package in a minute, or in a little while. He's wanting to get on 220 down in Houston and see what's going on at 220. And I got a whole big bag of 220 stuff I took out of the closet. And we're going to look at it here and go through it. And I'm going to surprise him and send that down to him in Houston there. And one other thing, breaking news that just hit this afternoon. I was contacted today by the History Channel and A&E, and they have a show called The Proof is Out There, and they wanted to use some of our material in their videos. I guess they're putting a show together for A&E or the History Channel. I don't know much about that yet, but that will be interesting. We were in a lot of news back during the shoot down, if you remember the shoot down.
Oh,
we were in
right.
just about every publication and radio station and Newsmax and all those places we were on there. So I don't know how the A&E History Channel thing is going to go, but we'll see. All right, so that's the kind of things I've got on the list for tonight to talk about. A bummer. I forgot to show you the picture. There's WBCQ up in Monticello, Maine. That's our shortwave station we're on up in Maine, and we really appreciate those guys up there. So if you missed the video show, you can always listen to the entire show on Thursdays on 7490 between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time on WBCQ. All right, let's see. Glenn, come on in here, Glenn. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, while you're out having COVID, I decided I was going to go into the hospital and spend the night. We talked about that last week quite a bit, but gotten all recovered from that. I start physical therapy on Thursday, and this was kind of a miniature version of the bypass surgery I had 5 years ago, and it's just the shock to your system. It just kind of overloads you, and you have no stamina, no energy, and in this case for about a week and a half, and now I'm finally getting back up to full speed. And then we were joking at one of my writers groups that I go to here in town today, outline while I was waiting and after I had my heart procedure 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
So that's how busy I've been. I'm sitting there. I'm even in a hospital bed working on books for ARRL. But
all right,
as we were talking about before the show, that's...
Well, don't overdo it there. Don't overdo it, man. Take a little break, man. You know, do some fun stuff.
I really am. But this is part of the reason... Part of the stuff I had planned for in retirement was to have time for books and things. So this access point here, and my YouTube's not dropping as much either.
Yeah. Hey, no, let me mention this. Another thing you guys can do on YouTube, the speed sets automatically for you on your reception end. But if you go down here at the bottom right, I don't know, there's a settings button or something you can click on down the bottom right, and it brings up some settings. and you can actually drop the video quality down like to 720p, 1080, 720p, what is it, 480 or whatever, and that might help you receive it better. Even at 480, you'll get a fairly decent picture, So check that out. You might just bump your speed down a little bit, and that might help a little bit there. Things are looking good here. I'm still showing things are looking good. I'm looking at the video on the YouTube dashboard, which is coming back to me, and I see no buffering at all over there. So it's hard to say, what it is.
It's buffering a little bit for me, but I'm sure it's on my end.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I say, that's how I spent my Thanksgiving, and pretty much back together now, and everybody's happy with how everything turned out, so it's all good. The best thing was, I was home for Black Friday this year, and I had my Amazon shopping cart all full. I had my except for one little problem. I forgot to change my shipping address from my AliExpress account.
Oh, man.
So I've got about 4 boxes of parts and stuff going to show up at the old house here in about a week. So I'm going to have to make a trip over there to get that. But that's okay, because I need to winterize the house anyway.
Yeah. Maybe I ought to run. Anything good, maybe I ought to run over here and snatch it off the porch.
Let's see. We're talking servo motors, Arduino parts. Lots of good odd.
Well, maybe it'll still be there. Maybe it'll still be there when you get there. Hope it is.
They'll be there. My neighbor takes good care of it. They'll stop.
Oh,
and get them
that's
for
good.
Me.
That's good.
But in the meantime, I still have to go back over there and winterize the pool anyway. So I'm probably going over there Saturday, and that's why I was talking about the access point. Maybe I'll hook up with you Saturday, because I got to run over to IKEA as well.
Yeah.
But it's been busy in the meantime. I told you about doing the outline. Well, I got this back this morning that just arrived today. Interestingly enough, it's not going to be an Arduino book. It's going to be about mesh networking. They want a second edition of the mesh networking book. Well, so that's good. How I'm going to be spending my next few months. And in addition, and I mentioned this last week, it looks like Bill Brown and I are going to be working on a Pico balloon book. ARRL's been trying to get in touch with you about that, Tom, but they kept getting this thing about something like, he's out of the country right now. We don't know when he's coming back.
Oh, okay.
We don't know if he's coming back.
Yeah.
But,
wait, or precipitate. I'll precipitate.
You'll precipitate. There you go.
Yeah, I'll precipitate here.
But
I thought about launching a balloon from over there, but that would have not worked out.
No.
And then I thought about launching one from here the day before we left, to see if our airplane could beat it over there.
Yeah.
To see how that would work out, but didn't do it. So we have plans. In fact, this segment tonight on LC circuits or traps, I'm going to talk a little about. That's going to go along with the Pico ballooning, because we're going to try to get another Pico balloon in the air maybe in another month. And we're going to make it dual band, 20 meters and 10 meters. So we're making a trap dipole, and we'll be running dual frequencies on it to see how that works out. So as it goes around the Earth. And, hey, it's becoming winter. The sun in the northern hemisphere, the winter sun is very low. In many places, the sun never gets above about 20 or 25 degrees out there. If you look to the south, the sun doesn't ever get really high in the winter. And it takes, if we're flying the flat solar panels, it takes at least about 22 degrees of sun before it will make the panel start working. So we're thinking about, on this flight, we have built up a triangular vertical solar panel that's got 3 sides on it with vertical solar cells, and that should pick up the sunlight from 0 degrees up to how to get 2 hours of tracking a day, if you get that much. But with
Yeah,
that
that
flat,
design's worked pretty good in the past.
yeah, well, but those have been during the summer though too, and
True.
so if we fly these vertical panels, that'll pick the sun up at 0 degrees from the horizon. We should be able to get a full day. We might get 4 hours, 5 more hours per day tracking. So that's another thing. The problem is all that adds weight. And all the things I'm talking to you about right now, if we're going to add that vertical tri panel and all that, I mean, the total weight's now getting up around close to 20 grams. And anyway, we want to do something different. That's why we're doing the antenna, the dual band antennas, and we're changing the software up to where we can select what bands we want and be able to run dual band, on them at the same time. All right. I'm thinking. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I got a couple more things here real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Just in time for Christmas, and it should be out pretty soon, the January-February issue of On the Air magazine from ARRL is going to be printing one of my articles, and that's going to be an introduction to microcontrollers. So if you're interested in trying to figure out what this Arduino stuff is all about and the various microcontrollers, be sure to look at the January-February issue of ARRL's On the Air. That's coming out soon. And I don't know about you, Tom, but I am getting tired of turkey. It's time for me to go get some lasagna or Chinese food or something, because leftover turkey, I'm done with it.
Well,
how about you?
I will make a comment about that. Guys, I'm getting to be a pretty old guy. But out of all the holidays of the year, Thanksgiving has always been my so we got back from the Mediterranean a couple weeks ago, and we were going to have about 1 week after we got back, 1 week to get Thanksgiving meal ready for everybody. We had some family out of town and everything, but we came back sick with COVID, so we decided to cancel. We didn't have a Thanksgiving this year. So, and I missed the dressing. Oh man, I love the dressing, man. I love it. And we missed it this year. Not sure I even ate anything that day. To tell you the truth. We were both pretty sick with like I said, with the COVID. So we canceled Thanksgiving this year. And looking back over all the years, when you got COVID, you just can't invite the family over and all get together and hug and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So. We canceled. So I've got to try to stay healthy if I can knock this out and try to make it to next year where I can get that dressing and have Thanksgiving again, man.
Well, I was recovering, so I really wasn't much in the mood to cook. But let me tell you what, I stopped by the Honey Baked Ham store here in town and got me their honey baked turkey and their dressing. And let me tell you what, that was absolutely, I bet you. Yeah, that's a shame.
Have you ever eaten at Dale's? Have you ever eaten at Dale's down in on State Line Road?
Oh, yes. Back before they had the fire and then even afterwards, yeah.
Well, Thursday, I think every Thursday they have the chicken and dressing. Boy, I got to get down here. I can still get me some dressing, I can still get some, so I just got to go down here. But we'll see. Okay, what else you got?
I think that's pretty much it. When we do these balloons, we probably need to look at me sponsoring one and getting my call on it so that we can have that for the book.
We can do that.
Things of that nature. Because I think it'd be fun to have the APRS FI traces.
Through our Python script, we can just turn on another Python script, track X balloon, and say call it your call, and send it to APRS, and you track it on APRS, and it looks like your balloon.
Yeah.
So it's doable. A lot we can do there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because also in the mesh book, I'm going to be covering Meshtastic and AREDN and several of the other newer mesh technologies as well. So it's going to be a fun year for me. I mean, for the next 6 to 8 months, I'm going to be buried doing that and other things, and looking.
Well, I'm looking at your shirt there.
Yeah.
Let me think about. I've been so busy and been sick and been traveling. How many days is it till Christmas? How many weeks or days till Christmas? About
What is
four,
today?
three weeks.
22 days, 21
Man,
days, something like that.
That's only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. And yeah, I've been on the naughty list again this year, but you know what? It was worth every minute of it. So.
All right. Well, look, I'd really like to get our viewers out there in ham radio. You know, I'd really like to see that, and make that a segment. Maybe the week after Christmas, we can.
Well, let's back that up too. And what did you buy yourself for Black Friday?
Yeah. Well.
What deals were you able to find? Because Brett found a bunch of good deals from the various suppliers.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah.
HRO really came through with a bunch of good sale prices.
I mentioned, and it took me an hour to figure out how to change the voltage on the digital display. You would think, okay, as long as I've been in electronics, a simple power supply should be real easy. You turn it on, you clip the test leads to a meter in there, or you look at the digital readout, you turn the knob and set the voltage. I couldn't get the voltage to change. And I found voltage and current are actually rotary encoders that have push button on them. So you push the button in, and then you turn it and set the voltage. I was turning those things like crazy, and the voltage was never changing, man. Oh, man.
If it's any consolation, I did the same thing with my gas fireplace. The pilot light went out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it relit to save my butt. I actually called the service, and thankfully, they couldn't get here until January. And lo and behold, I went on YouTube, and it's like, here's how you can clean your pilot light, and that's 90% of your issues. So I cleaned that up real quick, blew it out with a can of air, and still couldn't get it to light. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I realized, oh, the igniter's got spark. That's the pilot and gas to get the gas to start flowing until the thermocouple comes up and starts generating the millivolts of electricity.
We got one like that too. It's with the remote control, like you were explaining last week, I think. And another thing, if the fireplace has been turned off, all summer, a lot of times you got to let that air and that gas run for a few minutes to get the air out of the pipes or something, because you never know when to let off that thermocouple button. I'm afraid of mine, and it worries me when Kathy lights it. Let me tell you, I mean, you tell that thing to come on, and you start hearing gas spewing out of that thing. I'm talking 30 seconds later, gas is spewing out, and then it lights. Now, the teaching I've had and upbringing I've had, it tells me that that's explosion type situation, but it always works okay,
Well, that was the one benefit, is when I got in there and had to trace everything and figure it all out, old transmitter, and I've been watching the shipping status and tracking that all day and every day, and lo and behold, I got a notice this morning, it's coming 2 days early, it's going to be delivered today, and I'm getting all up and, just ready to go and get that thing programmed and use it, and it says, never mind, it was shipped to your old house.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, the forwarding caught it, so it's going to get forwarded to here in the next couple of days. It's got a billing address and a shipping address.
Yeah.
And if you don't change both, you get stupid stuff like I just did.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't see Chris in the chat room earlier. You were wanting
to look. I was just looking. I don't see him there either.
Yeah, no, okay. I don't see him there yet.
All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick break, and then I want to talk about traps and the LC circuits and some of the stuff we've been doing the last day or so. I felt like doing something. So
yeah,
cool. We'll be right back with you guys in just a moment there. Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. Our high-powered base stations cut through the pile-ups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contests from the comfort of your home or remotely with the RSBA1 app. Heard it, worked it, logged it. ICOM heard the call and has answered. The ICPW2 is here. Take your contesting experiences to the next level. 6 automatic antenna selector for SO2R, which is single operator 2 radio operation. With the IC7610, faint signals are no longer challenging for DXers and contesters. This high-performance SDR radio changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. The high-powered base station features an RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR, that can pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals, an independent dual receiver, dual digit select, and more. This is the SDR receiver that everybody wants. For more information, contact www.icomamerica.com/lineup/products/IC-7610. All right, guys, we are back, and I want to talk to you a little about, the project I'm working on a little bit right now. Let me, I'll switch to a different camera in a second. But, we haven't flown a Pico balloon now in probably about a year. Our last balloon flew 470 days, and the transmitter stopped. I think it's still flying. I think it's been up 700 and something days right now, to tell you the truth.
I tend to agree. That one seemed to be very solid.
The transmitter was getting flaky the last month or two. Actually, it had transmitter troubles for. I've got something here for AC5CM tonight. He don't know it, but I've got it here, and I'm going to talk about it in a little while, and that'll surprise him. All right, so
you can always call NORAD and have them send up an F-16 to look for your balloon.
yeah, we could.
Problem is they have a tendency to use sidewinders when they find them.
So we haven't launched one since ours did so good. In fact, when we first started this 4 or 5 years ago, if you could keep a balloon up 2 weeks, you did good. If you could get it around the world one time, you did great. But it was getting to the point where the blue material we were using and the weights and everything we were working with, it became almost guaranteed that we were going to make it around the world the first time. And try 10 launches, and you'll make it once. One of those 10 will make it.
We barely got past the South African or the African coast with 90% of those early balloons.
But now I can just about tell them, I guarantee you, if you launch one, it's going to make it around the world if you just take some precautions. So anyway, so again, in case you just tuned in, the History Channel and A&E contacted me today to use some of our material in a program that they're putting together for a show that's called The Proof Is Out There. Now, I don't know if that's a single show or if that's something that runs all the time.
It's a series. They cover every conspiracy type theory or story out there. Okay,
so the A&E History Channel have contacted us, and they mentioned all the legal stuff. They want to be able to use video and excerpts for the rest of their life and wherever they want to, and I'm okay with that. They want it non-exclusive, meaning that they don't take it away from me. I can still use it, but they also have the right to use it. So channels. So we'll find out more about it later. They just contacted me today.
That's actually one of my favorite shows. So that's
I'll have to watch it. So I'm getting ready for another launch, as I mentioned a minute ago, and we want to do something different because now you launch one, it goes around the world, stays up 470 days. There's no fun to it. So we want to try to do something different, shake it up a little bit. So one of the things we're doing is we're going to do a dual transmission. We're going to do a 20 meter and 10 meter transmission on Whisper and convert that over to APRS. So we'll use 2 different time slots on Whisper. We'll use minutes 2 and 4 for 20 meters, and we'll use minutes 6 and 8 time slot for 10 meters. Like that, we need a dual band antenna. And the antenna on our balloons basically has always just been a 20 meter vertical dipole with half the antenna, 17 feet going up to the balloon, and then 17 feet hanging below just hanging in the air to give 34 foot. So we need a dual band antenna. So the best thing we could do, I could figure out, was to make a trap antenna. Now, weight is a consideration. We want to keep the weight down as much as we can. With toroids, I can easily wind a toroid for a end-fed. It might work, it might not work. We're not going to have any counterpoise or anything like that. Now, I guess we could have a counterpoise. I hadn't thought about it. I could let the 20-meter antenna hang down. It'd be a dual band end-fed, and we could just run a little counterpoise up the rope. So I could put a counterpoise in there. I just thought of that. Yeah. But right now we're going to do the trap dipole. Excuse the pictures here. I took this with my camera off of the monitor there. But that's a trap dipole. It's a dipole, and it's got an LC circuit that is that's in the line of each leg that blocks the signal. And for instance, this LC circuit right here is actually set to be resonant at 28 megahertz. So if you look at this diagram here of the antenna, you can see the 10-meter portion. The 10-meter goes from a feed line out to both traps, and it stops there because that trap is resonant at 28 megahertz. The 28 megahertz signal will not go through that trap. It stops right there. So in effect, you have just a 10-meter antenna. And then when we transmit on 20 meters, because it's on 14 megahertz, the traps are tuned for 28. So anything other than 28 will go through the traps. 14 to go through the traps, 17 to go through the traps. Anything else besides 28 will go through the traps. So for 20 meters, the entire length of the dipole comes to play. Now, those traps actually load the antenna down, and it makes the antenna shorter. A typical 20-meter dipole is 34 feet. 34 feet. But I've tested this with the traps in there and the wire on the ends. This antenna is 5 foot shorter on each side. So it's 10 foot short of 34 feet. So the entire 20-meter antenna is only 24 feet long, actually. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. If you want to build some traps, it's very easy. And as you can see here, here's a HF trap calculator. You can actually just start plugging some numbers in there until you get the frequency you want or whatever. So you can see right there, inductance, I think it's 1.1 microhenry and a capacitor of 28.4. So that should give you a resonant frequency somewhere around 20. And at the top up there, you'll see we put in 28 megahertz as our frequency we're shooting for. So there are a lot of good tools out there. Now, how do we know to make a 1.1 microhenry coil? How do we know that? Well, there's other websites out there. For instance, here's one here that tells you what to do. In other words, you put in here the coil diameter. You put in here how long the coil is going to be. How long the winding is going to be. You can put in the number of turns. Like 13 turns, 20 turns, 40 turns, and hit calculate, and it will actually tell you the inductance. So we were needing a 1.1 microhenry, and this is what we used basically. We used a 10 millimeter diameter coil form with about the coil length approximately 10 millimeters, and we used 13 turns of wire. Now, we used, to keep things small and light, we used drinking straws. This is a plastic drinking straw here. that we wound the wire on as our coil form. That drinking straw, by the way, is 10 millimeters in diameter, and we put 13 turns of wire on there. We put our 30 picofarad capacitor across it, and we hooked up our spectrum analyzer to it. And you can see right there. You can see the dip or the resonant frequency. If you look at the very bottom tip of that little V-shape area, you'll see the number 1 right there. Well, that number 1 is a marker. It's a marker I have set, and if you look up there to the top right, it says marker is at 28.05 megahertz. So, so I know right there that resonant frequency is 28.05 megahertz there, and it's minus 66.48 dBm down, which is really good. It blocks that signal there. Now, what you can do is when you wind that coil, it's not going to be on frequency. It's going to be to the left or to the right of that 28 that we're shooting for. So you just take a little pair of tweezers and you just press the wires together, the coils together, or spread them apart, and that will actually move. It will actually move that dip there to the frequency you want it. And once we got it set right on the frequency we wanted, then what we did, we just took some super glue. We took super glue and just covered the coil right there. And you can see I'm putting drops of super glue on there on that piece of straw and the turns there. And what that's going to do, that's going to keep the turns from moving. That's going to lock them in, and it's going to be right on frequency there. So that's one of the inductors that we built that we'll use. There's a couple there that we have built. To test this, I was actually able, because now the whole 20-meter dipole is only 25 feet long, I was able to stretch this out into the ham shack. So I just took the dipole and set the antenna analyzer up right there on the workbench. And you can see the wire there. You can see the inductor. The inductor actually has the capacitors inside the straw there. And you can see that I've got the antenna just hanging in the air right there in the shack, probably about 6 feet off the ground. And I just taped it to the wall. Like there it is right there. It's one of the traps. It goes through a door into another room. I just put a piece of tape there to kind of hold it up in the air to test it with. But that's basically how we are building the trap antenna to use for our next flight there. Let's see what's going on in the chat room here, if anybody had any questions here.
No, none yet.
Okay.
I like the idea of putting the capacitor inside the straw and using the straw as the coil form. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yep. I want to welcome Tim, WB8HRO. Tim, I've been gone. I haven't seen you in here in a while, but I'm glad you're still with us, man. Appreciate it. Hang in there, and thanks a lot, Tim, for being with us there. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing on the Pico dual band antenna. And again, just tonight popped in my mind. I was worried about an end-fed. If I can do an end-fed 20 meter, and that'll work. All the bands above 20, 15, 10. And I was worried, well, I don't have any coax running to a balun that I'd be winding, and I'd be winding a balun on a very little small toroid. But I could easily put a counterpoise on the upper string there. So I may try that. That may work out really well.
That would be interesting to try. Yeah.
So guys, that's our information and letting you know what we're doing with traps and LC resonant circuits. It really makes it easy using the spectrum analyzer with a tracking generator. If you notice that yellow line there that goes all the way across and makes the little dip and comes up, That tracking generator here actually transmits a signal from 0 to like 1 gigahertz. That's across that scope there, 0 to 1 gigahertz. And you can see the blip there. Now I've got the you can set the viewing range there. You don't have to look at an entire 1 gigahertz from end to end. I'm looking at about, I think I'm looking from 10 megahertz to like maybe 40 megahertz is what I'm looking at right there. Now you can use an antenna analyzer if you don't have a spectrum analyzer. There is a trick. You can use a spectrum analyzer, and what you do is you take your coil, take your coil right there, and you just take a loop of wire and just stick it through the coil, loop of wire, and then hook that to the antenna port of your antenna analyzer. And tune your antenna analyzer and watch for the dip. And once you see a dip, that's the resonant frequency. Now, I tried that with my Comet CA500 analyzer here. You can see the dip. It matched perfectly the dip on the Spectrum analyzer here. So that will work. And then again, you know, we put the antenna out, put the antenna analyzer on it just to check SWR. It looked good. I've got close to a 1.1 on 20 meters and about a 1.2 on 10 meters, I think. So, yeah, there's just some coils I've been experimenting with. It's been a lot of fun using the spectrum analyzer and the tracking generator to make various coils. And, you know, I'm thinking, okay, I just need to make me try some multi-band antennas outside that can handle a kilowatt. You know, I've got larger wire, I've got larger coil forms, and with the spectrum analyzer, do the very same thing. You wind your coil, you put your capacitor there, and you'll have a high-powered coil to put in your antenna out there. All right, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about the Pico balloon launch coming up. Again, like Tim had just joined, maybe do a replay of the beginning of the show. Again, the History Channel and A&E contacted us to use some of our Pico balloon videos and stuff in a. All right, well, Glenn, I've got another thing here. Let's see, I don't know if Chris is still in here. He's going to be surprised. What else is going on? Anything new there, Glenn? You want to mention anything?
No, not for me, other than, you know, I'm going to get busy for Christmas and stuff here real soon. And I will be coming back to Memphis probably this weekend. So maybe we can hook up and at least see each other physically again.
Okay, well,
and,
cool.
Try to catch you on Saturday, but that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay. All right. You know, my son, Chris, AC5CM, he's in here.
Yeah, now, first of all, I have to ask, has he been good enough this year to warrant?
Gave him a 991 last year. It was sitting here, I wasn't using, a brand new one that I didn't use. I gave him a 7300 here a few months ago that you know, I won at some Hamfest, I don't know. So he's been pretty good.
Son or something like that, too?
He's what?
I mean, I'm in.
Yeah, you want to be adopted?
Yeah, adopt me, please.
I can adopt you. Oh, Brett's joined us. Let's get Brent in here. Yeah, I can join you. But yeah, Chris is starting to build up some radio gear. He's got some Kenwood gear and now a Yaesu gear and then a 7300 and all that. And let's see, there we got we got Brett. I got a cough coming on. All right, there. Let's see what's happening here.
I don't know, but you're showing the door to my workroom here.
Yeah. Okay, Brett.
There he is.
Brett, back up a little bit and move to your right, and you'll be in the picture. Yeah. There you go. Okay, man.
There you go.
All right. Before I get into the surprise for Chris, what have you been doing, man? Are you back from the Christmas party?
Yes, I am back from the Ham Radio Club's Christmas party, and there was a lot of food. I'm stuffed.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it was a big potluck, and everybody brought too much. So I guess that's the way potlucks usually happen.
Well,
it's my favorite time of the year. You can overeat, and people can't say bad things about you.
There you go. So I've been I was overeating a little tonight, and then I was using ham radio skills for non-ham radio things. Um, as I mentioned last week, I talked last week a little bit about fixing furnaces. Well, I fixed two more, as a matter of fact. Also, using a voltmeter and
Heating and air?
well, no, that's just I
Oh,
probably could pass the exam for to be an HVAC technician, but I did it, using what you would use to pass the amateur radio exams.
you know, everything's getting so complicated now. I mean, a person just can't walk in off the street and fix a heating unit because it has suction and vacuums and stuff and timers and the gas comes on for so many seconds before it heats up and oh man, there's all kinds of things going on there. So, days I can't even figure out how to get under the dash, man.
I used to climb in under the hood with my 1970 six-cylinder Mustang. It had a straight six, and I literally could climb in
Yeah,
beside the engine while it was running to set the timing and stuff like that. So yeah, those days are long gone.
yeah, and it's I can see
I,
why they charge so much now to fix
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, you gotta go to school and you gotta have equipment.
Well, and a lot of your smaller auto shops are no longer able to uh, support maintaining the modern cars because of the cost of the diagnostic software and tools.
Yeah, yeah, man. Uh, what was I gonna say? I had
I
some
remember. I still remember, and I still nostalgic for my 1974 Chevy Nova Super Sport.
yeah,
The engine
that's it.
took up the whole compartment.
That was a great car.
That was
That was a great car. I always wanted one of those. I always wanted a Chevy Super Sport, or maybe a GTO. He wouldn't let me start off in first gear. Oh man.
those were intended to be stock cars.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But you could buy them, and I wound up with one, and it could haul anything. It was just, you had to be careful when you touched the gas pedal. You didn't tap it too hard because the car would practically go right out from under you.
Yeah. Those were
yeah,
the days
yeah.
of the good old muscle cars, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when I was growing up, I never had anything that powerful, man. I don't think mine would squeal the wheels. I had a friend. He's Solid Key now, Ham down in Texas, and he had this four-cylinder. I forget. It was a four-cylinder pickup. He'd been driving for 20 years. Four-cylinder pickup. And he went into the parts place one day and says, "I'm doing a tune-up. I need spark plugs. I need spark plugs for my pickup. XYZ." The guy came out and gave him 8 spark plugs. And he says, "Nah, it's a four-cylinder. It's a four-cylinder. I've been doing this for 20 years. It's a four-cylinder." The guy says, "Well, you've been doing it wrong. It's got 8 spark plugs in it." And that motor had 8 spark plugs in it. It had 4 on the back side and 4 on the front side.
Man, I hadn't heard of that ever in a
Yeah,
stock
yeah.
car.
I don't know which one. Anybody in the chat room know what motor or truck that may have been? But it was a four-cylinder, but it had eight plugs in it.
Wow.
I guess you had two. I guess you had 2 plugs per cylinder, of course. But
Yeah.
he got in an argument with that guy at the parts place. I've been doing this.
Yeah,
Imagine
I think that might have been a Nissan. There
Yeah,
was a
it could have
Nissan
been.
engine that had 2 clubs per cylinder.
All right, somebody in the chat room, look it up. We're going to give a gold star out. Whoever can tell us what four-cylinder engine had 8 spark plugs, tell us that. Okay.
Now you got me Googling it.
All right, yeah. Let's see who can find it the fastest, man. Oh, okay. All right, hey, the next thing I want to talk about tonight. If my cough didn't come back. Gee. Chris, AC5CM, lives down in Houston. Nice repeaters down here. They got some nice towers down there. 900-foot towers. Repeaters on a 900-foot tower. That's got to do some good coverage. But he mentioned wanting to get on 220. There are not many radio vendors out there that build 220 equipment because actually other countries really 220 is not a band that amateurs use, and they just didn't want to waste the money building a radio what was that?
I believe that our ITU zone is the only one in the world that that allows 220, and the others don't. And Japan is not in our zone.
Nope.
So the Japanese manufacturers don't want to make radios that cover 220.
Right. So okay, here we go. Mark says a '94 Ranger has 8 plugs in it. Didn't know that. Okay. Any others out there?
Also, yes, Nissan 4-cylinder engines use 8 spark plugs, as well as the 2.3 liter used in some Fox body Mustangs.
Is that right, man? Can you do you think you'd feel pretty stupid?
Nissan,
I've been doing a tune-up. I've been doing a tune-up for 20 years. I know it only takes 4 plugs. Oh man.
Oh, I'd have felt like a fool.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, Nissan used to have this little sports car called the 280Z.
Yeah.
That's correct. Love that thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was the one that had 2 spark plugs in each cylinder.
Maybe. Okay. All right. Back to 220 here. So I'm kind of cleaning out. I got so much junk here. This closet has so much junk. The attic's so full of ham radio stuff. I've been getting rid of stuff, and 220 mobiles in there that I dug out. I was going to send him one, but one of them, it didn't look like it was working. And the other one has, the reason I put it in the closet, it has a squelch noise problem. I think it still worked, but anyway. But I've got this right here. Let me show you what I'm going to send him. He don't know this yet. He's watching right now.
Oh, he's going to know real soon.
He's watching. So I'm going to send him this. Now, this right here, this is a wouxun.
A wouxun.
Whatever it is, I can't pronounce it. 220, and it's a dual bander, but it has 220. I guess the other band is probably 2 meters. But I ran this mobile for several years on 220. We have a nice 220 repeater here in Memphis. And so what I did, I mounted it like a speaker mic and put me a mobile magnetic antenna on the hood, and I ran mobile. Now, to run mobile, of course, okay, first of all, you notice the antenna connection here. Well, it's got the I don't know what it's got. Brett, maybe you can tell me what it is. Is that some kind of SMA something or another or something?
Looks like a BNC. Oh, it's
no, it's a reverse. It's a reverse something.
It's an SMA. It's an SMA, and it's just embedded. It's just embedded down in there. That looks like a male SMA. Yeah.
Which will adapt it, of course, to BNC. So now we can hook a mobile antenna on it, and mount that down there, and you got your mic here, headed on 220. Now let's see what else I got in the bag here. Let's see. I got a lot of stuff with it here.
By the way, the wouxun has the reverse sex connector from a bell phone.
Yep.
You have a male connector on the wouxun, and
So-
you have a female on the bell phone.
So here's a charger. It's got a nice drop-in charger. This is mobile. Look what I got. I got the battery eliminator, so he can put this right on the radio right here, and plug it into 12 volts. So now you got 12 volts. You got a mobile rig. You got a speaker mic right here. Let's see what else we got in here.
They also made an alkaline battery pack for that, where you put in AA cells.
Here is an alkaline where you can put in the. Where you can put in, I guess you can put in the single cells, the alkaline cells right here. So that'll go in here, and let's see what else. Well, this must be a spare battery pack. It feels like it's got batteries in it. It is 7.4 volt, 1300 milliamp hour. And let's see, I found a rubber ducky. I found a rubber ducky that goes on it. But if you run it mobile, you're not going to need that. And it came with a very cheap. Came with a very cheap case. Anyway, I'm going to send this down to Chris. Hopefully, if there's a 2 meter repeater that is close by, And I built him a 220 J-pole antenna that he can tape up in his window and put on this in case he wants to try it in his ham shack. So I'm going to send him a 220 J-pole antenna, and I'm also going to send him a vertical coaxial 2-meter antenna in the package. And I think, I didn't mark this, I think this is the programming cable for the wouxun or whatever right here. So all this is going to go down to Houston. The Houston area to Chris, and see if he can hear any 220 repeaters. Now he's going to have to figure out how to program it, and
Sure.
hopefully that programming cable will do it. But you can also program it manually, and I'm sure you can get a book off the internet. But I actually have the manual for it.
Well, I'm sure that you can find a wiring diagram
on
the internet, and I guarantee you that the software Chirp will support
And looky there.
Looky there.
Purchased at Dayton in 2010, 14 years ago.
Wow.
So it's a KGUV series. Those are good radios. I have a KGV8E, which is a tri-bander.
Yeah.
Nice.
So all this will be going down, and hopefully he can put the antenna up on the window, tape it up there with some packing tape,
There you go.
I used it mobile here in Memphis for several years, and it worked fine. And I finally bought, a mobile rig. But if you're going to run it mobile, you'll need to get you, say, a magnetic. You got one more thing going here. Need to get you a magnetic 220 antenna. Get you a 2-meter quarter wave magnetic and cut it to frequency. That might be the easiest thing to do. Is trim the antenna down a little bit where it works on 220. Got so much stuff in here. Looks like it's not gonna close here. It might. I don't know. I'll figure it. Local 3494 is up 650 foot. 2,000 foot tower. Oh. Okay. 2-meter repeaters. Not sure where the 220 is. Okay. Well, we'll find out. It may work. It may not work. Chris, it is a 2-meter. It's also 2 meters. So I don't know. Even if you just use it to monitor 2 meters in a shack, I mean that would work fine. All right. So that's my story on that, and I'm sticking to it. Let's see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is my Sasquatch. He decided to come up tonight.
Yeah, I see that. Now, is that one of the new ones?
This is the one I adopted last year.
Okay.
And he's every bit the camera hog as the other two. And but yeah, this is the proof is out there that there is indeed a Sasquatch.
So I guess your arm is feeling better, Glenn, because you're able to hold it.
Yes, I have been cleared to lift more than 5 pounds as of a week ago. So yeah, we're good.
Well, that's cool, man. All right, now as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I want to talk about the future of amateur radio roundtable, and get some ideas and thoughts from everybody out there. The show has now been on, I think in January, I have to look it up, January or February. The show has now been on 10 years solid. We probably hadn't missed more than about 2 shows per year. I really want to thank Glenn and Brett for keeping the thing going, especially when I was gone overseas this last month. So I don't have as much energy as I used to. I guess you might say I'm not as young as I used to be. So I'm contemplating It's very hard to come up with good subjects and segments every week. You know, I went out on Facebook. I'm a member of probably about 50 ham radio Facebook groups. Some of them have 50,000 people in them. Some of them have 30,000 people in them. I posted a request in Facebook groups this year that had a viewership of about, if you add up all the viewers and all of them, and some of them are 500,000 viewers or 500,000 people. And I said, guys, we're looking for anybody, man, any segments, anybody like to come on the show, anybody like to help. You know, I love things like home brewing, if you built something, or if you're, you know, a POTA or, you know, whatever you're doing. You know, I'm looking for people interested in providing content in helping out with the show. So I sent that out to 500,000. So I'm not sure what that means exactly, other than I have a feeling that a lot of hams aren't very interested in helping out, or, you know, maybe they don't have time, maybe they're busy. Of course, I'm retired. Probably many people work and don't have the time. So it's been difficult to keep the show going every week. And even I have been disappointed some weeks that we didn't really have any good segment, and I felt bad about that. There have been weeks it took off and it became interesting, and a lot of people, several people commented on it was interesting and thank you and so forth. And then, of course, we have various guests from time to time that have things that to show. So it's been tough on me to keep it going. I kind of want to keep it going, but I know in reality that's not going to be possible for me to keep it going. So at some point I'm going to have to probably back off from it or just drop it. Now, I've got in my head, I'd like to do some HF operating, and here's an idea. It may be a bad idea, but instead of a show where people come on expecting to see certain segments and things, maybe every Tuesday night at the same time, I come on HF. I'm on HF, and Brett and Glenn get on HF, and we get on a certain frequency, and I webcast that. And we webcast it, and it's just a general webcast of making contacts and having fun. You can see the S meter. You can get on here as a group and talk with each other, and still have the chat room. There could be a lot of stuff going on, from chatting to talking to us by HF. And that might even raise the interest of some other people that run across us that start joining us. I don't know. That's just one idea that I have that we might be able to do. It would definitely take some pressure off of trying to have something lined up for every night, a program that is structured. Anyway, anybody got any ideas? I'm looking at the chat room. I don't see anybody talking. I probably put everybody to sleep. But Brett, you mentioned tonight in email maybe doing it every 2 weeks. That might work. The reason I wanted to go every single week was to keep it consistent and try to build up the viewer base. I mean, my personal opinion on it every 2 weeks is Tom would forget what week it is. I mean, that's just me, you know. I mean, I would forget what week is on. Was it this week or is it last week, or is it the first and third, or, you know? So I don't know, but that might be an option. That may be an option.
And which is, of course, you know, Ham Nation, which started on which started on Twit and is now independent. It's now run by Josh out in California. We could even alternate with them, so that there'd be something every Wednesday night for ham, you know, for hams to tune into.
Well, now that might be an interesting idea right there. Every other week, and alternating with a show like Ham Nation, that might that might help. Again, it does not.
And so Wednesday would be ham radio night, whichever Wednesday it was.
Yeah. Now that doesn't help me to plan a show though. To have something. So I don't know. I mean, but that's an interesting point of view. Interesting point of view.
Yes, no. Now broadcasting nets, that's also been done, and that's also worked in some cases. And I've seen, as long as you have someone who is willing to be net control, that works. And a lot of people, that I've seen that generate a lot of interest before.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't even, I wouldn't even consider it a net because I think nets are kind of boring. I see it as a hangout. But let's say we're on 3 different bands, but we can each bring up a camera on our own station operation, and we can still each have the chat room up. You may be making contacts on 40, and I may be making contacts on 20. And somehow we can slide those people from one band to the other to see if they, see if you can get Brett on 20, So I don't know. Clifton says pick a different band for each week, or work 3 bands each week. See, that's got some merit to it, I think.
I like the alternating Wednesday strategy. I think once a month may not be often enough, and people will start forgetting and dropping off.
Yeah.
I like the alternating, like with Ham Nation. That would be kind of cool because you're feeding the audiences 2 different styles.
Yeah.
Another thing, rather than just getting on the air and doing things, maybe we need to do, actually, and I'm kind of doing this with ARRL, and that's to fall and do some of the better types of shows and material that we did back then and update it for the modern era, such as how do you work a sideband contest? How do you work a CW contest? And maybe get into some of these operating things. But I personally love the technology, the antennas, this little trap antenna you're building for the balloons. That's my kind of thing. And you don't find that out there. So it's a tough call. I don't envy your decision at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's also a lot of people who are interested in getting into the hobby who really aren't sure what to do or how to take the test. We now have all new test questions from a few through, say, the technician class exam, and really delve into what you need to know to get your ham ticket in the first place now, because it is so different from even from when all of us got our first ham tickets.
Yeah.
There's a lot more computer stuff in there. There's a lot more acronyms than there used
Oh,
to be.
I'll tell you right now, I couldn't pass the amateur test right now with all the digital stuff. I don't know the answers to it. My stuff was back. Oh, I mean, we used to have to draw a transmitter and receiver schematic and with valves stuff. Probably a lot of the new people, that'd be boring to them. I like to have people like Martin Gill on here that. We talk about Martin when he was 16 years old and he got his license in the little store down in Mississippi. He put his transmitter up in the attic and he didn't even have a floor up there, and it was hot up there in that attic, and he straddled the rafters up there to operate, and how we got our wire out of old yokes, out of old TV sets, and just on and on and on.
And see, there's a lot of those stories out there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in touch recently with one of the very first people I ever worked as a novice, and we've recently gotten back together on Facebook and rehashed those old CW days back in Miami. And here's the thing: maybe we're not doing this right. maybe we need to be looking at more guests to offload having Guido from Dr. Duino, and we can get some more like that on here. And maybe try to reach out into the industry, get Martin and get some of these other folks out there with all of their unique experiences and life stories and do a biography style show with them and interweave them into the mix. Brett, just mentioned having Ray Novak back. That would be wonderful. So maybe reaching out to some of these folks that we all know or have heard about. I'd love to see Dr. Wheelock, Colonel Wheelock come back on and have him chat about the ISS and doing all of his work from the space station.
Well, we need a programming director that can work full time to line those.
Who's willing to volunteer and do that? I hate to say it, I personally don't have that much time or the contacts to do it. You've got the contacts. But like you say, it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
So best I can say at this point is try to find some folks with contacts and get, do the old, get them to volunteer a couple friends, and every time we talk to somebody, see if they know somebody who would be cool to get on. And
yeah. Well, we won't make any drastic changes yet. But I've been thinking about this for a while, quite a while now, months.
I have too.
Months, and
me and Brett carrying the load the past 3 weeks, just us. It was difficult for us to fill the time. We managed, but at my point, I was literally.
I wasn't sure I was going to get on tonight. This morning, last night our internet went down. It was down this morning. And I thought, oh, man, I'm going to have to call Brett again. Brett, you're going to have to pull us out of the ditch again. But it came up.
Well, we managed, but yeah. But we definitely do not have the contacts and everything that you have.
Well, one thing we can do is we can go back to next big Ham Fest, which I guess is going to be Dayton, and start recruiting. Go around and start recruiting speakers.
Well, I can do that at Orlando in a couple months. And
the responsibility to recruit speakers.
No.
You got somebody next week lined up, and next week.
No. Glenn will make an effort to try to contact anybody that he thinks he can get on the show.
Yeah.
But as far as taking ownership, nice try, my friend.
All right. Well, I tell you, it's going to get guys. We're going to have to reduce the pay that we're giving, all the staff members.
Well, I was just going to ask about that. With me being in the hospital and stuff, do I get hazard pay or?
No, actually, after that, and if you will, just whatever that doc amount is, if you'll just send that money in to me,
I'll tell you what, the check's in the email.
That will clear the books up right there,
Yeah, there you go. The check's in the email. You can expect it. I just won't tell you when to expect it.
Yeah, Tiffin says we can try to go to an hour.
That was
I'm not even
thought.
sure that'll help much, because if we don't have anything planned, we just get on here and we, flap our jaws for an hour. Nobody wants to hear that.
No, because people do like to hear some of the news we've got going on, things that are going on. Project ever thought about wrapping a coil on a straw.
Well, and we also we were always, for years now, we've been pushing a 2-hour show. And that's because I've got a 2-hour slot on the radio, and I didn't want to lose the 2-hour slot on the radio. So, even tonight, we'll be cutting it off here in about a minute or two, which is an hour and a half show. Even if we cut it back to an hour, we still have to come up with content, And
yeah, but an hour every other week would not be hard to come up with content.
Well, it probably wouldn't, probably wouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and earlier on that he's got about 10 220 repeaters within 50 miles of him.
Oh, really?
So that 220 stuff will come in real handy.
Oh yeah,
So I don't know.
and there are some, 220. There's some neat tricks if you know how to do it. If you'd like, I could even share my screen for this, but it's a little late in the show. I bought a really good 220 Slim Jim just recently.
Yep.
A Slim Jim is kind of a J-Pole plus. It's got it's a little more focused, got a little more gain,
Yep.
and I don't think people even know where to get things like that.
Well, I built it. I'm sending him a J-pole built out of what 400 ohm line with a piece of coax on it. So it's a Slim Jim for 220.
Ah,
Yeah, we can talk
yeah,
about
this
that in
one's
another
actually
show.
made
What?
out of copper water pipe.
Yeah, I built a pretty big actually. A 6 meter J-pole is pretty big.
One of the members of our club built one of those, and that was their Dirty Santa Christmas party gift. And let me tell you what, people fought over that 6 meter J pole. I mean, we were
Really?
almost down to fists to grab a hold of that J pole. So it was a very popular tool, and nobody knows how to build them in general. Yes,
Man,
there's
there's a website you can pull up, and it shows you exact dimensions, man, and how to
true,
build it.
but how many of our viewers are going to want?
I always like to do the pre-show music in front of the show, so because a lot of times, talking to our new guest and our co-host, sometimes we needed to coordinate things before the show, and it was always nice. I like playing a 60 music on here. The problem is. And we have a BMI license, a BMI license to play music on the internet, but there's nobody at YouTube that can actually read that. It's all robots out there. I always get copyright. So it's a copyright. There's no strikes against you. The owners agreed to let it play, and they're just going to watch it, and so we can even get by without the BMI license, actually. But the other problem is, once I went to Facebook, once we started going to Facebook and Twitter, and those, I felt like it would be almost suicide to broadcast music for 30 minutes on Facebook. That probably wouldn't work very well. So we're not doing that on the radio show. I can take the hour and a half show, and I can paste in 30 minutes of music at the end of it and fill our 2 hours pretty easily.
Yeah. By the way, there's stuff, and if you have a license.
Yeah, the problem with Twitch, and we're on Twitch right now. The problem with Twitch, every time I look over there, we have one viewer, and that's probably me. So I don't know. And another thing, our attendance has dropped off. We used to run easily 70, 80 people a night. It's gotten down this year to like in the 40s. So we'll have 40 people there. Now we expanded to Facebook and X and Twitch. So I'm seeing, and it's hard to tell. And when I say 40 people, that is concurrent. That's 40 people all at the same time were watching. We may have had 60 people tune in and 20 left, but then again, by the second, third day, fourth day, we may have 250 viewers on our show, which is not great. But on Facebook, we may have had another 100. I don't know. On X, we'll have X number. So, probably people that are seeing it is getting up there probably in the, I'm going to guess 400 a week probably. But I don't know.
Yeah, now Mark P. now doing that at their meetings. They're
Yeah.
holding a raffle,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, selling $1 a ticket or whatever, and raffling off a wouxun or a baofeng or something like that every club meeting, and that may be something to look into, is seeing if we can find a sponsor to give away.
Well, I've talked to Gigaparts.
prize
I've
every
got an
week.
arrangement with Gigaparts where I can start giving away a handy talkie each show right now. With just to see if because they want some return on giving that stuff away.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But,
so
you know,
so they would want to track it, and if we gave away 3 or 4 handy talkies the next 3 weeks, they would want to see if anybody orders any additional equipment. And you know, hams are pretty cheap. If we don't order any additional equipment, then Gigaparts would want to probably you know, cancel the program. But I could start giving that stuff away right now. That would be that Explorer handy talkie, which is a neat little handy
yes,
talkie.
I actually won one of those
Yeah,
here at
yeah.
a Hamfest not long ago.
Yeah,
I've got one of them too.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
nice. They're nice, simple little HGs.
You know, or as Mark suggests, we can get you to clean your closet out one item at a time.
Maybe I give away a Linksys router every week
Yeah, there
for,
you go.
for 52 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. But no, you know, maybe go not so much go for an HT, but have a gift available to some viewer on, say, YouTube or someplace that Hambot can track and access, and fire up Hambot to give away one thing a week.
Yeah,
one
I mean
small gift.
that's you know that's what I was wanting to do. I was wanting to run Hambot every single show every week, maybe in
Yeah,
mid
but
show,
it doesn't have to be an
give away a
HT
handy
every
talkie or
show.
something. You know?
Maybe do an HT once a month or something like that, and do other prizes in between.
You know, Martin was really
Yeah.
good. I could get anything
Yeah.
from MFJ I wanted, and they always supplied me with tons of stuff for all of our webcasts. But of course, we know
I mean, the food alone will make somebody go broke, though.
that's right. Well, the thing about the MFJ is, of course, they're gone now. So, and that would have been a very easy option. That plus
Yeah.
Gigaparts, we could have had a lot of stuff to give away here.
Well,
All right, guys.
no
well,
reason not to do it.
we've
Just-
about talked
yeah.
this thing to
Yeah.
death.
Well, you've got some ideas to think on anyway.
Didn't get a whole lot of comments in the chat room about it, but
Well, maybe there'll be some
some people
follow-up
maybe
emails
don't
and
want
stuff.
to publicly say anything. But if you're out there and you have some thoughts and ideas, send me an email at kub.com and about the subject about here, and we're looking for an email. And if you're out there listening on WBCQ, thank you for joining us on shortwave. You can join our live show on Tuesday just by going to kub.com. You can watch the video. You can get in our chat room. It's at 8 o'clock p.m. on W5 KUB every Tuesday night. Good night, everybody. We enjoyed being with you tonight. Interesting for you. If you got any ideas for the next couple of weeks, let me know. And if anybody wants to volunteer, you know. Hey, if you've got a 4-cylinder truck with 8 plugs in it, you want to make a video, send that video to us. I'll put it on the air here.
To the Ham Club meeting here.
Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.